Must be my new cologne. Good evening, everyone. So Rosie O'Donnell claims that director Penny Marshall told her to drop 20 pounds while filming A League of Their Own. Rosie replied, "Wow, what a coincidence, I have to poop." Combined a poop joke and a Rosie joke. Scientists warn that dementia could be contagious between married spouses and spousers. After hearing this, Jill Biden asked, "Why did I walk into this room?" A model recruiter accused of procuring girls for Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in his home in France. "I found the body this way," said the French lieutenant. Wow, you're slow. Big one. Yesterday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said his department blocked nearly $100 million that was being sent to deceased people. "Well, there goes my summer house," said one man. Because he's dead. An Arizona man was arrested for surfing atop a moving train while totally naked. Guess who's going as a train for Halloween? Hunter Biden is still trying to sell his awful paintings for $54,000. But get this, every purchase comes with a video call with Hunter. Unless you're his daughter. Randy Weingarten claims the president gets her so riled up that he makes her drink. Yeah, one time she got so drunk she hooked up with someone who looked like Randy Weingarten. You got to be drunk to do that. She woke up, looked in the mirror, and goes, "Ah, what's that?" Actor Jerry O'Connell admitted he dumped an ex-girlfriend years ago over an intercom. What an amateur. I used to do it by Skywriter.
Taylor?
Yes, yeah. I was busy. Finally, yesterday the Five celebrated its 15-year anniversary. Yeah. We were all planning a party, but canceled when one person found out. All right, monologue time. So why are Democratic Socialists so angry? Besides the fact that this is the greatest time to be alive. Well, it turns out they screwed up their lives. Stat whiz Nate Silver dropped these numbers showing that the bluest voters in America are white people with postgraduate degrees but low incomes. They're educated but broke. They spent thousands of dollars on an ethnic studies degree, a degree that misled them into thinking there's a demand for people with an ethnic studies degree. So how did they get there? Statistically, more education used to mean more money. With advanced degrees, you get more status, more respect, and of course, an endless supply of tweed and corduroy jackets. But the world has changed. There's a whole bunch of people with fancy degrees, but no one's hiring. And you know who makes up a whole miserable chunk of that group? The Democrat Socialists. The worst combination since my bike lock was 4 zeros. Who would steal a Huffy? 80% of DSA members over 25 have at least a bachelor's degree, yet 45% report incomes below 60 grand. No wonder they want free buses. Silver calls them highly educated, downwardly mobile. Translation, they were born on third base, but ended up on first. They had every advantage and blew it, so they want the rest of us to wait in bread lines. It's why we're seeing them back this.
I think it is time for us to tax billionaires their wealth. We've got an economy that's churning out billionaires at a record pace.
We're living in a rigged economic system while the very richest people in America have never, ever had it so good.
In 2028, yes, we have an opportunity to move beyond the current federal administration. It is possible to put working people back at the heart of our politics.
Working people. That's not what this is about. It's about the credentialed class who went to college to take courses in the history of the butt plug, then expected success, piles of money, and high status for their subsidized virtue signaling. But that payoff, it never came. Instead, they got college debt and zero skills. They have to call someone to unclog a toilet. Then they turn around and increase that guy's taxes. It's true. They watch the electrician, the plumber, the welder, the guys who skipped college and built real skills, now buying houses, cars, and building families. Here's Palantir's Alex Karp summarizing it nicely.
You know, Ivy League grad voting for this mayor is highly annoyed that their education is not that valuable, and the person down the street who knows how to drill for oil and gas who's moved to Texas has a more valuable profession. And I think that annoys the out of these people.
It's true. Meanwhile, the blue-collar folks are living the dream. It's true. The only complaint I hear from my plumber is that I can't keep flushing those letters from Make-A-Wish. So it's all flipped. The non-college grads are winning. The credentialed class may possess high cultural capital, working on campus or in nonprofits, but they're financially strapped. Worse, they still spend money on status maintenance, which comes at the expense of savings. They can't afford a home, but they spend thousands on weekly therapy, yoga and Pilates studios, eating at trendy farm-to-table restaurants, specialty groceries, pricey coffees. And proximity to the rich only increases the status pressure, which leads to credit card debt and addiction. And yet they cling to these elite behaviors for the prestige. So now they're angry and willing to burn the whole system down by voting for radicals who vow to do just that. Because those idiots hate capitalism since it works and their path doesn't. Instead, it creates nothing and punishes success while rewarding failure. But to the elite voter, it doesn't matter because years ago, they had a choice: social capital or financial security. They chose wrong. So they'll flock to the DSA who say it's not your fault. It's billionaires, the cops, the dude you saw at your high school who owns a boat and didn't go to college. And getting revenge is the only way to get justice. Socialism is now, as always, a coping mechanism for the envious, where you torch everything because you didn't get what you wanted. Of course, that was never our problem, but now they're going to make it ours. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He doesn't burn bridges, he sleeps under them. Comedian, host of the Loftus Party podcast, Michael Loftus. It's her birthday today, so make sure you applaud, even if she doesn't make any sense. Co-host of the Party Lines podcast, Republican strategist Aaron McGuire. When she steps on a scale, it says, have a sandwich. New York Times bestselling author, Fox News contributor, Cat Tube. And he once used a javelin as a toothpick, former NWA world champion, host of the Planet Tyrus podcast, Tyrus. You know what I love about you, Loftus, and I truly love you for this? You have absolutely nothing. I mean, you started at zero, you're still at zero, and you don't complain, you don't ask for anything from anybody, you just go back to your box and sleep.
That's right. There's free gums under the handrail to the subway.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And you know what? That's not even an analogy. That's a literal phrase. It is funny, though. It's like, it's less a policy and more a frame of mind, envy.
Oh, yeah. And with these college kids and their love affair with Democrat socialism or whatever they're calling it now, I think it's not so much that they're angry, it's that they're incredibly stupid, right? They came into the world stupid, and then their parents kept them stupid by going, you need self-esteem. You got self-esteem. Your opinion matters. And we're not going to keep score at the soccer game and all that crap. And then they had somebody like Bernie Sanders going, well, if you want to succeed, you got to have college. You got to have college. That's the only way to go. And they bought into that dumb got a horrible degree, and now they're looking around going, I'm in a lot of debt. I have no way out of this, but Zohran Mamdani the commie is going to give me something for free. Granted, you're drowning and he's throwing you a cinder block, but at least that is free.
Cinder blocks are free. Happy birthday, Aaron.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, 40's a great decade.
Oh, thank you. When I get there, I'll let you know. Not there yet.
one of the things that I feel bad about this cohort is that they'll still stay in the city. So they're around people who can afford things. So if their friends are going to the Hamptons, they got to go to the Hamptons. If their friends watch a certain program, they have to have the streaming service. They have to know what the hottest new cafe is, new restaurant. They cannot afford their rent, they say, but they have to live a lifestyle as if they can afford anything.
Well, yes, because ignorance is bliss, except when reality comes smacking you in the face and the bills are due. For them, it's easy to put it all on a credit card and pretend that tomorrow's never going to come, when in reality, you know how you pay off your college debt? You get a freaking job. You know how you do better in your career? You get experience. And it doesn't have to be in college. And a lot of people I know are more successful who did not go to a university, who did not get a 4-year degree. And for them, they don't need to carry that burden of debt. But this elitist mentality, they did everything the credentialing class told them to do. They moved to the big city. They got the degree. They became an underwater basket weaving professional that can't get hired anywhere. I'm sorry. I know that was your degree, Tyrus. But you know, you are the exception, not the rule here. And in the long run, they were sold a bill of lies. And instead of believing that the people who sold the lies are the problem, they believe American success is the problem. And that is the ultimate ignorance. They don't say, I was lied to about going to college. I was lied to about needing this degree. I was lied to about what my educational opportunities were. Instead, they get mad at the people who were successful no matter what. That's the problem. It's the indoctrination that's happening to these kids younger and younger that makes them, to Loftus's point, dumber and dumber.
Well, yeah, and they feel like they're entitled to something better, and they can't. So you'll hear this cat like, my life isn't as comfortable as my parents or my grandparents, but what made those generations comfortable wasn't material goods. It was free stuff, like getting married when you're young and having a big family and getting to know your neighbors. And you could go to a decent school in your neighborhood. You didn't have to go to a private school because that was cool. And what I'm saying is life was just affordable because the best things in life, Kat, are free.
Are you saying that?
Yes.
How many apartments do you have?
How many do you have?
None. There are a
Bonnie.
lot of issues when it comes to affordability. That it is a very multifaceted issue due to many things. I would say when it comes to this specifically, people who are overeducated and underpaid, it really is the fact that my generation was sold this lie that it's always worth it to continue your education. And when I myself was faced with that choice to continue my education at an Ivy League school post-grad, at the time it was $80,000. Now I think it's even more expensive for a year at Columbia. And I said no, and I worked at Boston Market and then waited tables instead and did internships because I was like, I'm never gonna pay that back. I did the math. I looked at the entry-level salary and I said, where am I gonna get that money to pay that back at my first job out of college? Everybody was calling me an idiot. They're like, what are you thinking? I had a lot of disrespect thrown my way, but it's like, okay, well, it actually ended up being the smartest decision I ever made in my entire life. And I think it's a great thing that now we are openly at least doing a cost-benefit analysis with school. The conversation isn't happening like that anymore. People aren't saying, well, it's always worth it, it's always worth it. Because that's simply not true, especially now. There's so much you can learn without being in a formal educational environment. And in many cases, you can actually learn a lot more in the real world.
Also, these tuitions went up. Because the government.
Way up. The government, absolutely. The government involvement is a huge issue, not just with education, but with a lot of the affordability
crisis. If you
crisis.
took government out of these loans, the tuition would drop. But anyway, Tyrus, do you think it's envy that's driving this? Or
no, they're pissed off, Greg.
Yeah.
And I'd be pissed off, too. You know, I get to college and they inform me that there's 80 different sexes, so I take a gender studies degree. And then lo and behold, when I graduate, there's only 2. I'd be pissed. I'd be absolutely furious. I just spent 4 years plus graduate school, didn't hop on the Boston Market restaurant trail to success because you were smart, they were brilliant, and I stayed in school to get my master's in gender studies because there was 80 of them, Greg. I was thinking of all the things I was going to conquer in my dating life with it. 80 selections. And then you mess around and you come out and there's only 2. And And really, for me, that means just one.
Yeah.
And then apparently that one, if you touch them a lot, they have these things called babies.
Yes.
So I'm absolutely furious. I want my money back. I need that for child support.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.